Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've made it through most rounds, but now I'm going to wrap things up with this week's DC books that aren't tied to Night Terrors. Kicking things off, we've got Batman Incorporated number 10. Where we left off, the Joker had informed Ghostmaker that his Joker Incorporated's entire scheme is to force the hand of Batman Incorporated, so that either they kill the members of Joker Incorporated, or they sacrifice numerous civilians. So the issue opens in the Kangbashi district in Oru City, China. Batman in China is tracking down Alpaca. Takes down two of Alpaca's men, and Alpaca then throws out two hostages, killing them, stating that if Batman in China wishes to continue trying to catch her, well, she's got 100 more hostages that she can throw to their deaths. In Melbourne, Night Ranger and Wingman are dealing with Corvus Call, and well, at this point, Night Ranger is, as it seems, Wingman's dead. But Ghostmaker manages to contact Night Ranger to explain that if Corvus Call doesn't kill in the next 14 minutes, everyone within a 1 kilometer radius will die. In Norwich, Knight and Grey Wolf catch up with Die Laughin. Apparently, Die Laughin said he's going to betray the Joker. Largely because it's just the thing it's something Joker wouldn't expect. But only to a point. Giving them a one of the devices being utilized by the Joker for Joker Inc., so they can figure out how to disarm it. In South Dakota, two members are tracking Clown Hunter and I actually don't remember the name of this particular Batman, are going after Dusty Bronco, who is rather perturbed that he still can't even that Raven Red won't come after him. But Raven Red manages to cause the two members of Batman Incorporated's car to crash, shooting out one of the tires, and further insults them. But saying that he feels like he's been insulted. In Paris, Charles de Gaulle is preparing the Cirque de la Mort when Ghostmaker gets in touch with Night Runner and tells him what's going on. Night Runner saying he won't kill, and he'll find another way. El Gaucho further impresses this upon Ghostmaker, though Ghostmaker states that as far as he's concerned, the only reason they're here in the mess is because of Batman's code. If he'd done what needed to be done, Joker would barely be a memory, and the hundreds of lives currently on the line would be safe in their homes. But Dark Ranger ends up making a hole in the ground, and seeing if his Corvus Call inside of it, as well as himself, and well, there's an explosion. Next up is Dusty Bronco, and so as Dusty Bronco is about to kill Clown Hunter and his fellow member of Batman Incorporated, Raven Red, arrives. And he doesn't seem all too hesitant to put Dusty Bronco down for good. Gaucho continues to try to appeal to Ghostmaker, adding that okay, fine. So so we don't kill because of Batman. So it won't be because of Batman. It's because we don't kill him. But rather to show Joker that he does not have the upper hand. Though Ghostmaker says Joker's not walking away from it either. However, two have arrived in China, and Batman in China says if the state meets him saying if they want to get to Alpaca, well, they have to go through him first. And that is where the issue ends. Joker Incorporated story is honestly kind of what one would expect, I guess. It'll be interesting to see if Night Ranger somehow survived. Chuck and Corvus call into that hole. It seems the bystanders did, but we'll just have to see. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Unstoppable Doom Patrol number 4. So, the Doom Patrol have rebranded themselves as a outreach and support group for young metahumans with with less controllable powers, helping them learn to use their powers in a manner that doesn't, cause chaos at every turn. Because of the Lazarus brain, they're having to work, do a little bit more work than they expected, which has also put them on the radar of some people who rather they weren't doing it. So this issue focuses by and large on Jerry, who's the team therapist. Dr. Cinco is the therapist. When her metagene activated, it awoke a power that allowed her mind to ascend to another dimension. She communed with 5 fifth-dimensional entities who wanted to help her and others better understand themselves and their purpose on this plane of existence. When letting these 5 entities out, she prefers to be called Jerry for short. So basically we see Jerry's sessions with the various members of the team. Starting with Degenerate, who wonders why he was even signed off on in the first place. Apparently, though, Degenerate's worried that if he manages to work through his anger, well, he might not be able to use his powers anymore. Rita, Elastigirl, is dealing with a form of survivor's guilt. Negative Man is making a point to find his own inner peace and balance. But he is worried, though, that as soon as he has things figured out, reality sends him crashing down once again. That's kind of been a cycle for him. Robot Man is having something of an existential crisis. But there are things he can remember when it's been made clear that his brain, the original brain, is long since gone. He's also dealing with his own desire to protect those he cares about. and he knows he can't upgrade to planet size to do so. But he acknowledges that trying to do it all by himself hasn't worked in the past. And so Jerry suggests that Robot Man trusts his friends to help him handle the problem instead of trying to make them all hide behind him. Beast Girl actually seems to be fairly well adjusted. Youth and exuberance seem to help. And is actually quite happy. Though, of course, her biological family has not been exactly accepting, and though she points out that family isn't always who you're born with. The chief briefly speaks with Dr. Cinco, who suggests that maybe perhaps Jane would prefer a session, but the chief insists that all of them are fine. Everyone is fine when it comes to Jane, even Jane, and that is where the issue ends. Though it should be noted that the reflection of Jane does look a bit accusatory. As if saying, "I'm fine." So maybe not accusatory, but just very much "I'm fine. There's nothing wrong." I am enjoying this book. I'm hoping that I know it's a mini-series, but I do hope that it concludes its conclusion is a positive one for Doom Patrol. I like the idea of what they're doing. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Wildcats number 9. Where we left off, Drifter was on another Earth where his brother was still alive, and a smattering of both Wildstorm and DC heroes are having to deal with Lord Emp, who's basically just taken over the world and turned it into a blasted wasteland. Cole is siding with a handful of those that stand against Emp, and to save the world, he's told that he has to get Void out of the Halo building. Though it seems Cole has other ideas. Though it does seem that Cole is a little bit more interested in killing Void, or what the Earth Prime, or what the Earth Zero version of her did to him when it came to him. Meanwhile, the rest of the Wildcats are dealing with Halliday's hostile takeover of Halo. So, the issue begins 10 minutes ago in another world. Cole and Void are talking. And she says, yes, freeing her is saving the world, but she won't leave. She can't use her powers in the room she's in. And she adds that she fears that if she left there, she wouldn't have full access to the energy inside her ever again, but it still exists, and Cole can release it. He asks how he does that, and she simply says he knows how. Oh, another plot point is that the rest of the Wildcats, while laying low, are dealing with a visitor, John Lynch, who wants them to work for him. It seems that everyone but Ladytron seems to be on board with the idea of at least working with Lynch. Voodoo is being questioned by Halliday, who's a member of the Court of Owls, who also brings in some of the members of the Seven Soldiers. Threshold, Backlash, and Maul. Meanwhile, Pike and Warblade go to go to take Imp into custody, but a servant robot brings out a bomb, blowing up the that particular apartment and injuring Pike and Warblade. Not killing, but injuring. But Lynch gets a call that Voodoo has been compromised and most likely gave up location. And so the rest of the Wildcats can go with him, or they go their separate ways. But he needs an answer now because, well, he will be coming to kill everyone in this building in the next few minutes. And everyone's like, okay, we're in. Except for Ladytron. But Lynch asks which one of them is going to go get Voodoo. Though Voodoo manages to escape. As tensions rise between Backlash and Threshold. But she takes down each of them. Manages also to take down Maul, as Maul telegraphs his every move. On the other Earth, Max walks in on Cole, seemingly about to shoot Void. Asks him not to, but when Zana interrupts and ends up first killing Max, and then being killed by Cole. And shortly after that, Cole shoots Void. The issue ends with Voodoo making her escape from Halliday and the Seven Soldiers. So not everything's gone to shit. I'm enjoying this book. I'm looking forward to seeing. I do look forward to seeing where with each issue ending. I'm always curious as to how things are going to play out. So yeah, it's characters I love. I do hope that Backlash and Warblade and Maul, I don't know, maybe are being manipulated or something, and become at least allies of the Wildcats, if not members. Fingers crossed. It's great. It was great seeing Lynch though. So, moving on though to our next book, we've got World's Finest, Teen Titans #1. So, I dug this book. I'll just say that right off. So the Teen Titans stop a bunch of cultists from doing a human sacrifice, and Roy is attempting to basically live stream the Titans' various adventures. The Titans take down the lead cultists, and not everyone's happy with the fact that Roy live streamed the entire thing. It leads to some arguments between the members of the Titans. Also, apparently they have a social media guy that's able to get them where they find places where they can help. We get moments with the various Titans and their mentors. Kid Flash with Flash, Wonder Girl with Wonder Woman, Aquaman with Aqualad, Batman with Robin, Bumblebee with Golden Eagle, her who's kind of her social media person, and of course Speedy with Green Arrow. or at least so it seems. But Batman is vehemently against the idea of Dick revealing his identity to the other Titans, adding that he may be friends with Flash, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, but there's no guarantee that their proteges have been trained as well as Robin has, which puts Robin at risk. Aqualad is advised by Aquaman to be careful around Robin. And it turns out that while Roy is seemingly telling Green Arrow about his adventures with the Titans, Ollie's not actually there. He's talking to a mannequin wearing one of Ollie's suits. We also see the dichotomy of Barry Allen and Bruce Wayne as mentors, with Barry telling Wally to never forget the Titans are a team, while Batman says that as Robin's the leader, their very lives are going to be in Robin's hands. But in Pensacola Beach, the Titans deal with the separated man. He seems to be able to separate his limbs and be giant sized and separate his limbs. They have an antidote, which Roy, while showboating with doing the live streaming, manages to fire off, and it's effective. Which leads to an argument between Roy and Dick, with Roy going, everyone loves him, nobody's hurt. Though Robin states that there are people that there are millions of eyes on him waiting for the Titans to fail. Though, and Roy points out that the rest of the Titans, they all know who each other are, but why not Dick? And so Robin leaves, and yeah, that's not where the issue ends, though. Man, a guy calling himself Hilo is meeting with a shadowy figure in the warehouse district outside of Metropolis. Hilo used to work for Two-Face, and before that, the Gambler. He explains he can affect probability a little sometimes. Not win the lottery level, but he's extra lucky. So he says just as he gets struck by lightning, to which his interviewer disagrees. That is where the issue ends. So yeah, I really like this book. Much like with World's Finest, it feels like reading. It feels like if someone took a Silver Age comic story, or even Bronze Age, and made tweaks to it so that it fits in with the current DC timeline. The whole idea of Roy trying to be an influencer and having the Titans be influencers, that feels like it's something that could have happened. That feels like the kind of thing that would have happened had Teen Titans been introduced, a decade, a decade or less ago. It's an interesting dichotomy. It's an interesting comparison that popped in my head, though. There was a recent miniseries from Marvel, Avengers: War Across Time, which I remember stating felt like reading an old Avengers comic. And the thing is, it really felt like reading an old Avengers comic because because it was clearly set, not just in the early days of the Avengers, but utilizing all as though it was written in the '60s. Not let's take a story the type of story that would be told in the '60s and tell it now with You had like middle-aged beat cop commenting about having fought in the war with Cap, so on. So and similar things that just wouldn't that don't. If you're talking about, if you're doing something that takes place 10 years ago, wouldn't be 10 or 15 years ago, those wouldn't be the case. And Mark Waid has managed to, between World's Finest and now World's Finest Teen Titans, he's managed to make that concept work. And honestly, I think that things like World's Finest and World's Finest Teen Titans, at the very least, DC should do on a regular basis after after the most recent crisis. If anything, just to set up a modern past, so to speak. Like, you can't have the idea of like a lot of old Batman stories. Some of them can be updated for a modern past, so to speak. A prime example would be the Batman Joker story that's appearing in Batman Brave and the Bold currently. So yeah, I like and Marvel actually did try something like this years ago with the Avengers. A pair of miniseries called Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, which has focused on the Avengers, if I remember correctly, from the perspective of Jarvis, their formation, and again, kind of doing it in a more updated sense, so to speak, where it felt like something that was happening that was going on in, say, the late 80s as opposed to the early 60s. This was like, almost 20. Those two miniseries were released like, almost 20 years ago. So yeah. Anyway, moving on though to our last book for the week, we've got Multiversity, Harley Screws Up the DCU, number 5. Where we left off, Harley had noted that if the Starro Suicide Squad is trying to make sure that the heroes never exist, well, a good number of the Starro Suicide Squad are Bat villains. So one place that'd be likely for them to show up, or one point in time they'd be likely to show up, is when Batman when the Waynes were murdered. So the showing of Marco Zorro apparently went horribly wrong, and Harley apparently decided to do a live version of it with a sword, and that's why I say the Waynes are not amused. And Harley heads down an alleyway where a mugger pulls a gun on her. Yeah, Joe Chill. And she stabs him in the dick as the Waynes continue on down the alleyway. But the other Harley explains that because of that, well, Batman never comes to be, and Harley kind of feels bad because she made things worse by trying to do a good thing. So but it seems that there's multiple Dr. Incredulous is talking to the other Harley, and Harley and Harley fight over the communicator, and main Harley knocks out previously Starro Harley. They fight it out, but they're too evenly matched. But previously Starro Harley gets arrested by a GCPD officer, while Harley manages to escape. about around the same time that the Star Suicide Squad arrive. And the Harleys team up to take them. Harley takes on the Star Suicide Squad, and, well, alone she's not exactly great at it. However, she's not alone, as the other Harley shows up and manages to snag Mr. Freeze's freeze gun, freezing them all in place, except for Red Tool, who escapes, having fired a nail gun at the other Harley to disarm her. And she explains that she managed to escape by convincing the arresting officer to give her a chance, that, you know, maybe she's actually trying to do something good. Turns out the officer that arrested her in the first place was none other than a young Jim Gordon. But all in, well, Harley ended up getting thrown out of the theater. So, yeah. But the Waynes get mugged, as they're sadly supposed to. But the Waynes aren't the only ones dying in this issue, as other Harley took a pretty bad hit, it turned out, from Red Tool. And the issue ends with her dying in main Harley's arms, with one more issue to go. I am enjoying this book, and yeah, it is just a ton of fun. I love it. It's great. Anyway, that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Big shout out to Patreon patron Xander Lee. Thank you so much for your support. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.